Hey there, and welcome to the first episode of the Character Bio series, a series where we dive into the history of Zombies' various characters. In this episode, we'll be discussing the ever-mysterious director of Requiem, a version of Eddie Richtofen hailing from Dimension 2210. This version of Richtofen was special, and particularly chosen for Dr. Monty's plan for a perpetual cycle. Why? Well, this Richtofen soul was innocent and unaffected by the Dark Ether and 115. For Monty's plan to work, he needed his soul, which he requested Primus Richtofen to collect for him. What Primus Richtofen didn't know is that his innocent self was merely a child, having to gain his trust, luring him away where he would kill his younger self and absorbing his soul into the summoning key. When he delivered his soul to Dr. Monty, the soul was given new life, born anew, given the nickname Eddie. While at the house, Eddie would befriend Samantha Maxis, another child who lived there, along with her father, Dr. Ludwig Maxis. The two became fast friends, hanging out together and playing with their toys, which oddly depicted the Ultimus characters. I don't think that's ever really explained. They lived their lives in relative peace until the cycle broke and Primus and Ultimus began to collect pieces for Primus Nikolai's grand scheme. Now aware of the scheme Primus and Ultimus are up to, Monty begins to descend into the basement, where Dr. Maxis puts Eddie and Samantha into the teleporter for protection. In a last-ditch effort to save them both, he teleports them to Primus and Ultimus, with the last view of Maxis is of him being devoured by Dr. Monty's true form. Lashing out in anger, Samantha Maxis destroys the facility her and Eddie were teleported to. Now with Primus and Ultimus, they venture to the forest. While they celebrate what they believe to be a calm before the storm, Victus is out constructing the Agarthan device for Nikolai's plan. With the fully constructed Agarthan device in his possession, as well as Primus and Ultimus now being deceased, Nikolai used it to destroy the multiverse, plunging it into the Dark Ether. Before having Samantha kill him off too, he allows a single rift to open for Eddie and Samantha to enter. In this new timeline, not much is known for what both Eddie and Samantha were up to, but at some point Eddie joined the CIA under the Directorate of Science and Technology's Office of Extra-Regular Activities, becoming the Associate Deputy Director. In November of 1981, after the Russian Omega Group reactivated the cyclotron at the Project N Station facility in Morasko, Poland, Dark Ether rifts tore open across the globe. With the American government in a panic on how to handle the situation, Eddie makes himself present in the room. With the room's attention on him, Eddie slides a folder across the table titled Office of Requiem. He informs them that the organization's intent is to handle the rifts, the new undead threat, as well as Omega Group. The heads greenlight Requiem's creation, Eddie acting as the director of the classified government branch. 4 other individuals were chosen as heads of their respective departments: Gregory Weaver as Special Operations Officer, Dr. Elizabeth Gray for Unnatural Sciences, representing the British government, Major Mackenzie Carver as the head of Containment and Security, which he requested directly, and finally, Dr. Oscar Strauss as head of Energy Research, who previously worked for Project N Station. Requiem would immediately begin sending in strike teams to the dimensional rifts across the globe, and to the Project N Station facility in Poland, where they shut down the cyclotron. Unbeknownst to the rest of the Requiem heads and employees, Eddie had ulterior motives, secretly pursuing his Project Janus, getting in contact with Dr. Peck, an American scientist who works for Omega Group, informing him of Samantha Maxis coming to infiltrate their facility in Laos. He requests Peck to capture her and toss her away into the Dark Ether. He also informed the Omega Group leader, Lev Kravchenko, of a higher being within the Dark Ether known as the Forsaken. This knowledge caused Kravchenko to have Peck begin construction of the Inversion warheads, a missile capable of swallowing entire areas into the Dark Ether. Their intended use of the missile was to use it against the Forsaken, but when Requiem rescued Samantha from the Dark Ether, they were informed of Omega's Inversion warheads. Disobeying their field orders, the Requiem strike team destroyed the Inversion warhead by sending them into the ocean. Samantha would go into a more secure containment facility, a place for people like her. Here, Eddie would interrogate, torture, and emotionally manipulate Samantha, having her unlock her true potential with her Dark Ether abilities that she regained when trapped in the other dimension. Sometime after Requiem's strike team was tricked and captured by Omega Group, Eddie, with somehow prior knowledge of Alexandra Valentina's plans to tear open a gateway beneath Berlin to reunite her with her father, who was really just the Forsaken manipulating her, had stolen the Klaus robot he had requested Dr. Gray to create and sent it to the Berlin outbreak. Klaus's objective was to carry out Eddie's Project Janus. While there, Klaus also murdered the CIA agents stationed there, who were beginning to scoop out Eddie's identity and Project Janus. The CRBRS, more known as the Cerberus, wonder weapon was also deployed into the location. Developed by Strauss, Gray, and Carver, the weapon was modified by Eddie to add synthetic replications of their voices. The reasons behind this is currently unclear. When Omega deployed the Requiem strike team to fight against Valentina, Klaus assisted, even sacrificing himself to close the dimensional rift beneath Berlin. This sacrifice was essential for Project Janus. When Kravchenko attempted to kill off the Requiem strike team, Samantha Maxis opened a rift for the team to jump through, bringing them to safety. Eddie wrote down that Samantha's powers have begun to evolve and improve. Eddie's experiments in torture continued into February of 1985, having Samantha kill an Omega operative using her abilities. Threatening her dog and partner, Dr. Gray, against her will, she completely destroys the Omega operative. Eddie talks over her tears, informing her that today was a very good day. At the same time, Eddie developed a schematic for Dr. Peck to recreate and follow in order to capture the Forsaken. With Omega Group preparing themselves for the rescue of Sergeant Zykov and the capture of the Forsaken, Requiem reacts by sending in their strike team with the aid of both Sergei Ravanov and Samantha Maxis. Zykov reveals himself as none other than the Forsaken, which causes Peck to betray Kravchenko in order to assist the strike team in capturing him, guiding them on how to get to him. Using the Ethereum cannons, the strike team weakened the Forsaken enough for Samantha to defeat the entity, sacrificing herself by sending herself into the Dark Ether, all according to Eddie's plans. The Forsaken is then absorbed into the containment device, soon to be picked up by helicopters and delivered to Eddie's West Virginia facility. With the Forsaken captured, Requiem dissolved immediately. The main figures of Requiem were arrested, including the strike team and Raptor 1, and were sent to a highly secure facility. As of right now, their fates are all unknown. Although with Weaver, Carver, Strauss, and Gray, it seems that they may have already met their fates. Eddie's plans with the Forsaken are currently unknown, and will more than likely get information or full-on revelations about it in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies or the 2024 Call of Duty. And that's been Eddie Richtofen. Thank you for watching, it really means a lot. This is my first time doing a character bio, so I hope it was informative and not too confusing, or just flat out bad. Anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.